Greetings friends, greetings family, this is Eldad Amara. This is just going to be a very short video. There's some people, they're very disillusioned about racism. They think that racism no longer exists in British society. You take, for example, Piers Morgan. These guys are very middle class white guys, quite privileged. And they think that racism no longer exists in this society. They say that them and their friends feel quite shocked when they hear about racist incidents. They seem to be really disillusioned about racism, right? Especially here in the UK. There's some people, they feel absolutely, how do I say, shocked or surprised when an racial incident happens here. I don't know why that is. And there's a lots of presenters, news readers, yeah, who like to speak out on our behalf. They turn around and say, oh, I was quite shocked to know like Britain's such a tolerant society, man. Tolerant just means putting up with. That's all tolerance means. Yet still, look at the amount of racism we still have here. Alright? It's not like America, where America is more open. For example, yeah, it's more direct, it's more in your face. But in Britain it's more covert. It's more hidden, more subtle. In America, you got the Ku Klux Klan, right? And they're still, even up to today, hanging black people, right? Pulling them on the back of a car with a chain and pulling them along the ground and then killing them and burning them. You got racist police officers. You had the Jim Crow laws that long ago, since the ending of the segregation laws in America. Right? If you think, it's really not that long ago. Yeah? Probably about 50 or 60 years ago. But there's still a lot of racism in America. Through the police forces, the court system, the prison service. Yeah? But here in England, in this country, yes, racism is more subtle. It's not in your face like it is in America. And unless we start admitting that there are people here that are racist, then the problem will never go away. The issues will never get tackled. Do you hear me? The issues will never get tackled. We need to look at ourselves through introspection. Like John Barnes, the British footballer, or ex-footballer, as John Barnes turned around and said. In places like Scotland, you got Muslim women being attacked. You got Muslim women having letters put in through their burqa, like it was a post box. Yeah, you've had Chinese people being attacked since this coronavirus. Peston, who's also a TV presenter here in England, they seem so shocked that when there's a racist incident on a football pitch, or a police officer found to be abusing someone of colour, they seem quite shocked. And they turn around and say, oh, I can't believe that in this society now, where we're so tolerant and there's no longer any racism, I'm very appalled, very shocked like that incident like that should happen, or incidences like this should happen. How dare they? How dare they talk out for other people who are actually going through racism? How can they speak out for other people? You're not the ones that's experiencing the racism, so you cannot be talking on our behalf. You cannot be talking on our behalf. As I say again, tolerance just means putting up with. Britain has a reasonably large ethnic minority community, and I think it's this. While you turn around and say that Britain is quite a tolerant country. and racism hardly exists here. Barnes, the footballer, or ex-footballer here, used to play for Liverpool in England. He turned round when he was remarking about the royal family and this incident over Meghan Markle and Prince Harry. Apparently, somebody in the household of the royal family turned around and said they wondered what colour the baby's going to come out as. And then John Barnes started to address the problems with racism. And he said, like, in this country, racism is more covert. It is more covert, more subtle. It's not like America, where it's more direct in your face. Okay, in England you got some groups such as the EDL, which is the English Defence League. Yeah? And you got Combat 19. They're kind of America's equivalent to Ku Klux Klan. But they don't really come out and, I'll just say, hang or burn people. But they're racist groups that operate in the British system. The EDL and Combat 19. They talk about keeping England pure and white. Alright? Anyway, going back to John Barnes. John Barnes says that we need to look at ourselves through introspection and have honest conversations with ourselves about racism. And that it shouldn't be left to people such as the press, because the press tend to stir things up. Yeah? They're one of the biggest problems when it comes to racism, because they like to stir things up to make headline stories. So we got to be more honest with ourselves and more honest with our people through introspection, looking at ourselves and looking at why am I like this? Why do I have these racist views? Why do I have these prejudicial views? Why do I have them? I'm going to show you a quick video by John Barnes, right, where he's commenting about the royal family and about racism in general. Watch this video.
The comment that they made about the colour of the baby, the comment that was made was that the colour of the baby, they were concerned about the colour of the baby and how that would look. How that would look to who? How that would look to the British subjects, because they know that the British subjects would not necessarily like a baby with dark skin. They know that the British public would much prefer a white baby. So why don't we talk about the fact that the British public will be racially biased towards a darker baby? We're not talking about that either. Absolutely. I'm a light-skinned, middle-class Jamaican from a fairly elite family in Jamaica, who, when I was growing up in Jamaica till I was 13 years old, I would look at black people who are darker than me with bigger lips and who are working class, and I would think I'm superior because of what life has shown me. And I accept that, so therefore I work at changing that. So I would never say, I don't discriminate. I am not sexist. If I see a female lineswoman, lines person, and a male lines person, my initial thought before I actually see the capabilities of them is that the man is going to be better. But because I've accepted that, I can work on changing it. Most people don't do that. They wait for people to get caught, and you're talking about even expelling people from the party. Expelling people from the party are the obvious ones who get caught. The obvious racists are the problem. The ones who don't think they're racist are the problem, and the ones that you can't prove. And that is the biggest part of racial discrimination, sexism, homophobia, is what you can't prove. And why you can't prove it is because we're very adept at hiding it. And because laws, you can't pass laws to change people's perceptions. People have to automatically want to change their own perception, and they have to admit that it exists within them. But we're not prepared to do that.
Because before the Black Lives Matter protest came on board, there were still lots of racist incidents. More people are now reporting them, but things haven't got better. It's interesting for the people who think it's got better. You speak to black people, they'll tell you it hasn't got better. So it's an interesting point that you make when you ask people who will then say, who thinks it's getting better? Most black people go, I don't think it's getting better. White people go, yeah, it's getting better because they're not affected by it.
Yeah, but if you think about what was happening in at West Ham or Chelsea in the 70s and things, people were shouting and chanting from the crowd. I mean, people wouldn't get away with that these days.
Well, there are more black people, more black kids getting stabbed, more black unemployment, more black people not being able to get jobs. So who are things getting better for? Not for the black community. Maybe for a black elite who can get jobs on television, and maybe the black footballers may not get shouted at, but that is not what racism is. Racism affects 90% of black people, not the elite like me. It affects the people in their everyday lives, and that's what we have to stamp out.
I totally agree with what John Barnes has been saying in this video. We need to look at ourselves. We need to seriously look at ourselves and be honest. Have honest conversations with ourselves and sit down with others and talk about our problems with racism. And also, what he says that you have to ask black people personally themselves about their experiences about racism, right? Rather than you, the media, who turn around and say, oh, Britain's such a tolerant society. Oh, I'm really shocked that racist event happened. How dare you? How dare you? How dare you? How dare you? I say again, how dare you? You should be asking black people. You should be asking black people personally about their experiences. You should be asking black people personally about their experiences. And those people who are racist, as John Barnes has said, you need to seriously have some conversations with yourself and ask yourself, why am I like this? Through introspection, go into yourself and ask yourself some questions. Why am I like this? You know what? The other thing, this Black Lives Matter. Black Lives Matter. Yeah, funded by George Soros. Man, George Soros, you're naughty. You're a naughty, naughty man. You're a very naughty man. I'm going to go into a video about you and this Black Lives Matter, but in more depth. But you know what? This Black Lives Matter, I question it. I really seriously question it. Because when George Floyd got killed, who was a black man, got held down by a police officer, right, and pinned down to the floor for about 9 minutes, or almost 9 minutes, right, it created a massive, massive protest in America. In actual fact, all around America, and it spread to other countries around the world. It was there televised live for everybody to see. George Soros. Okay? He obviously has some kind of interest, personal interest in this. Plus there's other groups of people also, I think, who were in this march, yeah, were also people who had their own personal self-interest. Their own personal self-interest. Their own personal self-interest. I'm not going to go into this on this video, but there's groups, I believe, that have their own personal interest. Alright? And they marched along with black people, saying that they were fed up of all this police brutality. That they were fed up with all this police brutality. Then they had the symbolism where people were kneeling down on one knee with their hands on one knee and saying they're getting down in solidarity against racism. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. I am not getting on my knees. I'm not getting on my knees. I'm not getting on my knees. That's like a sign of submission. Why would I want to get on my knees? Why not just stand up and stand tall? Stand up and stand proud and stand tall. Why would you want to get down on one knee? I know that it's symbolic of the death of George Floyd, right? But you think about it, for centuries black people have been in servitude and they've been suppressed and held down by a system. Now you want to get down on one knee. Now you want to get down on one knee. Now you want to get down on one knee. I say no. Stand up. Stand tall and be proud. Footballer, and his name is Wilfred Zaha. Wilfred Zaha. Yeah? I think it's Crystal Palace he plays for, right? And he's turned around and said more or less the same thing as what I'm saying. Right? He refused to bend down and take the knee. He refused to bend down and take the knee. Okay? He says, because of this, and listen, This is his own words. Louis Zaha quotes, "I feel like taking a knee is degrading stuff because growing up, my parents just let me know that I should be proud to be black, no matter what, and I should just feel like we should just stand tall. It is becoming, I don't know, it's becoming something that we just do now." He goes on to say, "It is becoming, I don't know, it's becoming something that we just do now. I'm not going to take the knee." He goes on to say again, "I'm not going to wear Black Lives Matter on the back of my shirt because it just feels like it's a target. I'm not going to wear Black Lives Matter on the back of my shirt because it just feels like it's a target. But we are isolating ourselves with these things that aren't even working anyway." Wilfred Zaha.
Draw with Manchester United. The players take the knee, but Wilfred Zaha deciding it's not for him. He did say last month it's becoming something players just do, and that's not enough for him. He said we're isolating ourselves.
Zaha turned around and he said he respects those players who want to bend down and take the knee, whether they're black, white, Spanish or whatever. But he himself, he doesn't want to take the knee. But he said he'll respect other people if that's what they want to do, which I think is a fair comment. But like Zaha, I think it's a form of submission. And what is it actually improving? Is it improving on racism? Really? Or is it just becoming something that's just something that people do every day until it becomes forgetful? It just becomes just another routine. So I'm totally with Wilfred Zaha on that. I'm totally with Wilfred Zaha on that. Right? I am not bending down on my knees in submission. To me, that is not improving racism. It is not improving racism. If you look in England, if you look at England now, we still got problems with the police force here. Yeah? We still have problems with imprisonment. A lot of our youths, black youths, going to prison as compared to the white counterparts. Right? We still got problems with the medical service. And there's a lot of young black people, yeah, even older people as well, who are being sectioned under the Mental Health Act. Okay? They're more likely to be sectioned than their white counterparts. Yeah? And education. So listen, man, institutional racism. Institutional racism. We don't own or control anything. Right? The powers that be that control us operate through a system called institutional racism. Institutional racism. It runs right through the system, through everything. Through everything. From football, yeah, to hospitals, to schools, to universities, to police forces, to the army, yeah, and much more. Much, much more. That's institutional racism. It's been embedded in the society. Even the newspapers. Yeah? Look at some of their quotes on Meghan Markle and Prince Harry. They're partly responsible for some of this shit. Alright, I'm not getting on my knees. I'm standing up and I'm standing tall. And I'm standing up as a black man and be proud. Yeah? Like Wilfred Zaha said. Stand up and be proud. I'm not submissive. I'm not submitting to nobody. I'm not submitting to nobody. This picture. St. George and Michael. The angel Michael. Look at this picture good. does it remind you a little bit of the symbolism regarding the George Floyd, where you have to get down on one knee? Yeah? Look, you've got the angel with a black man underneath his foot. You've got the angel with a black man underneath, yeah, his foot. That's what the police officer kneeling on George Floyd with his knee on his neck. On his neck. I said on his neck. And you want me to bend down and do some kind of submission? Look, this picture here, right? The Queen gives out a medal to her dignitaries, yeah? She gives out a medal to her dignitaries. This is it. This is it. This is it. This is it. I'm going to go more into detail about this, right, in another video, okay? I'm going to go into another video about this, going deep. Anyway, to finish this video, right, I also believe, like I was saying, John Barnes says that we have to look at ourselves through introspection, look at ourselves and our values and be honest with ourselves. Why is it that we're racist? Why is it that we're prejudiced? Why do we hold certain prejudice against certain groups of people? You can do this by looking at yourselves through introspection and having honest conversation with others about racism. Don't brush it underneath the carpet like it doesn't exist, because it still exists quite strongly in this country and in America and in other countries. Okay? Let's sit down and have an honest conversation with ourselves and then with other people. Eldad. And if you like this video, please send me a like, hit the subscription or the notification bell for my latest videos. Thank you.